Hey guys, Arielle here, and in this video I'm just going to be showcasing Smart Directory Pro. So it's been a while and I've just had my head down focused on Smart Directory Pro, and I've mostly been building this in Cursor up until now, where I've got it in Claude Code. If you've not tried Claude Code, I recommend it. Might be a bit scary if you're used to using something like Lovable or Bolt or any of those tools where you can see everything. This is just a purely terminal-based coding tool, but it works in the same way that Cursor does. So I've got that running in the background, building a completely different plugin for Smart Directory Pro. I'm actually building a customer service agent, which is just a whole something completely different, but we'll talk about that maybe later or in another video. But this is not supposed to be the walkthrough guide, but I just wanted to show you some of the things that I've been working on and how the site functions. So this is on the live site MK directory. It might be running a bit slow because another thing I need to introduce is image compressing. So we want to compress on upload and possibly convert to WEBP format, because it's just going to be so much faster. So that is something I'm prioritizing alongside security. So speed and security are top on my list right now, but everything is completely working and running. So you install the plugin. This is what the homepage is going to look like. You don't have to do anything, and you can just select a color scheme that matches your logo or your business. Small bug, if you just saw that in the corner, that disappeared and went over here. So there are some minor bugs, but you can hide that as well. So that's not something you want your visitors to be able to change. So you just go into customizer and you can turn it off completely. So I've got color scheme here. You can turn off the switcher and you can just choose one of the color schemes from here. So I'll publish that and then we don't have to worry about that. But that was something cool I noticed on a theme once upon a time, and I wanted that, so I built that into it. But this is essentially what you're getting when you install the plugin. This is the theme, and when you import a CSV, this is going to happen. So you don't need to do anything except for tell it how many featured businesses you want to show. Obviously you set the featured businesses that you want it to show, and latest businesses is just going to, of course, put those in from what you've uploaded. And we do have a feature that when there is no image attached, that sets a default image. So you can just go into all businesses and then upload an image and set that for all of the businesses that are missing, so you don't have weird looking ones like this. But we will also be able to scrape. So we've got Firecrawl integrated, which I'll show, which goes to the website URL if it's available, and then it will scrape company data, combine that with anything you've uploaded, and you can create a really nice, unique description. And that's one of the things I was really excited about, because I was doing this before with the latest 5 reviews. I would combine those with the company data and then use AI to write a unique business description. So it's taking what people have said in the reviews and it's writing an objective kind of view on the company. So that's something that's going to be just on steroids now with this Firecrawl integration. So I did say it's loading a bit slow at the moment. But yeah, this is what the business listing page looks like. So we've got the street view when it's working. We've got the tabs here that have the imported reviews, and then if the owner has responded, underneath it will show the owner's response, and then if they've uploaded any images with their review, those will show up there in a light box. And then we've got photos, location and time. So again, this is supposed to have the map, and then we'll have get directions underneath it, and then the most popular times widget will show up there as well. And then from the sidebar, you can go to submit your business, which takes you to the submit business page. And if the business owner comes to your page and they want to claim the business, they can just click claim this business and then go through the process. So type in the business name, choose it, and then go through that process verification. And at the moment it says it's got email verification, where they receive an email to that specific domain if the email is on file. So they have to prove that they have access to that domain, or they can upload documents. So the document verification works at the moment. Of course, you've got to go and do that manually. and then I'm working on the email verification. So I just want this to be as easy and as seamless as possible. So that's to claim the business. And then of course, when adding a business, I think something's up with the CTA buttons are white, the text is white, but the buttons are supposed to match the color scheme. And the prices are mixed up. But in any case, they can choose a free listing, and then it's got some limited settings or features, and then they can choose, this is supposed to be a 30-day duration, but again, you can set all of this stuff up in the additional plugin, which is included free. None of this is all one package, but I felt it made more sense to have separate plugins for some things. So at the moment, there's only 2 plugins. I'm going to try and keep the plugin size low and try and keep it lean. But if there is, which there will be, other features and additional things, I'll just put them in a separate plugin without trying to overload it or make it too much, because that's the thing with WordPress. You end up having a really slow site or just a site with a bunch of vulnerable plugins, and I do not want that. The main thing is speed and security. So I want to keep it lean, but there are still quite a few things that I want to build into it. But I think having them as optional additional plugins so you can decide whether you want it or not makes the most sense, because I'm doing things, I'm thinking I've got all these domain names, I want to make directories for this and that, but then I'm thinking from my own perspective, whereas somebody might just be happy with basic theme, import their CSV, 10,000 businesses, good to go. So keep that lean and then add other things as I go. But that's the main thing. And then with the premium listing, something I've added, which I felt was a nice little upsell, was link management. So if they pay for a premium package, of course, this is completely up to you, but you can make it so default packages are no follow, and standard packages, you can make that no follow or do follow, but you could upsell a backlink. So once you've built your directory up and you've done all if you're doing link building, or you start to get a higher domain authority and all of those wonderful SEO things, and you want to offer the business a do follow link back to their website, that can be part of your upsell package. So from a local SEO perspective, there are quite a few ideas I have that I want to integrate, but again, this isn't going to be for everybody. This is in the standard plugin, but it'll probably be a case of having additional add-ons and things like that. But what I don't like being a WordPress user is when you have a really, really basic functionality in a plugin tool and they've made it so all the fun things, all the things that make it worthwhile are paid add-ons. I don't want to do that. So the main plugin is already very robust, and then all the extra things are literally just extras. Like, you're not going to need them to survive or to build the perfect site. I'm all over the place with this, but I just want to go through some of the features. So adding a new business, if you want to manually add a business, this is what it looks like. So the title is of course the business name. This is going to be the description, and then you've got the phone number, email address, website. I'm not sure why it says that by default. I guess it kind of makes sense. Business hours, you can put them in any format you want and it's going to convert them. I think when it imports JSON or however it is in the CSV, I've given it like 5 or 6 different formats, and then it converts those to these boxes, or you can just put it in yourself, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. however you want it to display. Longitude, latitude, the Google Maps and the Street View will show up based on the address, but it will also fall back to latitude and longitude. So if you import it from your CSV and you've got latitude, longitude, it will either use that or the street address and the postcode and all of that stuff. Rating, price range, you can select this, but it will also convert this from your CSV. So I'll show that in a moment. Social media, same things. And then business features, if you select any of these, they'll show up on the page with the icon. It just makes it look nicer, nice UI. Markers featured business, I probably should move that over to the right just for a better UX. Then we've got smart description. Not sure if these are all set up yet, but you can summarize reviews. So it's sort of like what you see on Amazon when you're shopping. You've got the AI overview of what they've said about the review. So I'm figuring out the best way to do this. It's very easy to just do the review summary, but if we want to make the reviews searchable and vectorized and all of those fun things, then it's there's something else that needs to be done. So I've got to figure out how I want that to show up. And then this just shows you all the metadata. So this is exactly how the CSV would be imported. Of course, there's no CSV here, so it's not showing anything but the basics. So this is the all business view, shows you how many businesses you've got published, pending reviews, categories. These are tags. So we do have category management and cleanup, which I'll show in a second, but those are tags, not main categories. But yeah, you can see the business view here. You can bulk set the missing images to the default uploaded image that you set, and you can just see everything at a glance. And in category management, we've got some smart features. When you import, sometimes I'm using a tool called Botosaurus, which I can't wait to talk about. It's a web scraping tool, a desktop web scraping tool. It's a one-time fee. Again, can't wait to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it now because I'll just be going on forever. But depending on the web scraper that you're using, how it inputs the data in the CSV is going to vary. So if it's using JSON, sometimes it's quite messy. You've got speech marks and brackets and all kinds of things like that. But on import, it cleans this up for you. With categories, it might import the tags and it might have weird characters around it. So it will let you know if you've got malformed looking categories. It will give you the option to use AI to analyze the business data, just everything that you have about the business, and then categorize that properly. And then you can just delete those other tags that it's got, the malformed ones and all those other things. Another cool feature that was just absolutely necessary, because we're going to be using different web scraping techniques and we don't want to have to go and edit every single CSV to match one specific blueprint or outline. So it's very important that we've got these smart features. So smart features on import, smart cleanup, all of those things are just going to save you so much time. If we head over to the import screen, this is what it looks like. You can do two things. So again, the tool I'm using, we scrape the business data and then we scrape the review data separately, because you can have hundreds of reviews. That's not really going to work in a CSV with businesses unless it's columns for review 1, review 2, review 3, and then the names of it gets really complicated. So in other scraping tools, I'm not sure how they do it, but the one I'm using, it scrapes the business data and then it scrapes the review data, and the review data is linked by the Google Places ID. So you want to import your entire CSV of all your businesses first, and so you choose the file and you can set it to draft or pending review. You can choose to import the featured images and gallery images. It shouldn't import duplicate if you're updating businesses. It was doing that before. And then you can tell it to create the missing categories, so then it's just not going in as uncategorized, because that's horrible. Row limit, leave that alone. And then we've got drip feed publishing. So if you're importing 8,000 pages or 10,000 pages, you don't want to go all in with them at once. You could split the CSV, and I would recommend that because of how WordPress is, depending on your hosting. You could install Heartbeat to make sure nothing crashes, but it might make more sense to split it up. But in any case, it will take big CSV up to 300 megabytes. And of course, if you know anything about WordPress, you can go into your WP config and change that limit. So yeah, if I need to, I'll do a video going through that. Hopefully you can work with the 300 megabyte upload limit, or split your CSVs. You can split CSVs in Terminal, in Cursor, probably online very easily. So if you can split it and manage it that way, I would recommend that. But you can drip feed and set the start date and end date, and then it will just go live randomly throughout that time frame. And then you've got Google Maps import mode, and this is useful if you're using the tool that I mentioned or any scraper that uses Google's actual headers, and it's going to grab the place ID, and that just helps it stop duplicates, because the place ID is not going to be duplicated. It's there or it's not. And in some cases, the business name, it might be, if you're matching by business name, you're probably going to get duplicates, or if you're trying to match by slug, you're going to end up with, let's say you've got like a Burger King and it only says Burger King, it doesn't say Burger King in location. If the first one you import has that slug, you're going to end up not having those other businesses. So you don't want to match by slug, you don't want to match by business name, you want to match by place ID, and that helps with that. And then of course you can select the review data or business data, and then batch size, I leave it as 20 because I'm on a shared hosting plan. Well, this is local, but typically if you're on like a basic WordPress shared hosting and you don't have Heartbeat installed and you've got limits on your server, or you're new to WordPress, keep it on 20. Just let it go through the process of 20 at a time. You do have to leave the screen on when it's doing it, but yeah, it's just something that has to be done. So I'm going to upload a file. This is not something I want to upload onto this server in my local site, but I'm just going to go through to see the field mapping. And when you go to continue to field mapping, it will show you the AI smart field mapping feature. And right now it's doing it. It's analyzing. You don't even have to press that button. It's analyzing the headers that are in the CSV, and yeah, so it's applied 40 fields, but I think there's a total of 43 in this file. So it will show you, so we've got place ID, it's going to map to place ID, business name, business description, spending. I want it to import everything. I don't like directory tools that take the CSV and then only import very specific information, because I'm thinking about this from a different kind of business perspective, like from an SEO perspective, to upsell to businesses, to market to businesses. I'm thinking about it from a different perspective, and I want all of the information that we've already got in the CSV. So where it says admin only, this means it's going to be imported. It's just not going to show up on the front end. And featured images, it should be a URL in the file. And but if it's a JSON or it's a comma separated, it will still pick this up. So featured image is only going to take the one image from the URL, but images, it says gallery image URL. You can see this is in JSON, and it's got some information about the type of image it is, and then it's got multiple URLs. So it will analyze that. It's not going to have trouble with that. It knows what to expect, and then it's going to save and import all of those images. One thing that we need on upload is image compression, so I'm going to be working on that. And in this case, we've got about, and it would usually try and map this to business description, but about in this CSV is not descriptive. About is actually features, business features. So there's none in this example, in this first business on the list, but in JSON format, it's showing if it's got wheelchair access, if it's got parking, and all of those things. If you've got that in your CSV, you want to select, where has it gone? I can't see it now. Business features, because it's going to extract that and it's going to show it in those tick boxes that I showed you earlier. I'm going to start importing this just to show you the import screen, but this is what it does. So it shows you how many businesses have been imported, updated, skipped, or if there's been errors, and it will tell you why in this log. So it's starting at 1, and then it's going to make its way through when it eventually does start. Yeah, so there we go. It says imported business, and it's given it an ID, which is just an internal WordPress ID. This is not from the CSV, but this helps if there is, this is going to be important because of the social widgets. This is a future feature, but yeah, it's good that it gives you the business IDs, because you're going to need those if you want to take it to the next level. And then we've got this fail-safe batch timeout reached after processing 10 rows. So we don't want it, I mentioned Heartbeat, but we don't want it to crash the site. We don't want to have to keep changing things because the site crashes. So it detects if it's doing too much, and then it will just time out and then continue. And this time it's timed out after processing 12 rows, stopped itself, and then continued from where it was. And this time it's done 18 rows. So it's not just going by a default stop, stop, stop. It's going by what your system can handle. So truly a smart feature, if I do say so. And over here we've got AI integration, prompt library, claims, and enrichment. Let me see if I can just fly through these. Again, this is not the official guide or the setup. This is just me showing what we can do, what's possible, what is currently working. I'm going to cancel this, and I'm going to go over to AI integration. It's moving extra slow now because it's importing, but again, this is not the official walkthrough. This is just me showing where I'm at, what I've built so far, where we're going, what certain features do, just so you can kind of get a taste of what's actually going on behind. Because if you visit the site, which I've got on Smart Directory Pro, I've got MK Directory. I'm also setting up another one called SEOsmeet.com. These are just some domains I had lying around. I've got so many. So I've got the opportunity to test and try out different things, and then I'll just put them all on Smart Directory Pro and you can check them out. But then from the front end, you only get to see so much. You can't really see the full functionality. You can't see how much time you're saving. You can't see what the AI features can do and where we're going with everything. So I think it's important to just get in the back end and show you these things. So I need this to cancel because it's taken too long. Right, so in AI integration, you've got your basic settings for all of your AI features. At the moment, we've got OpenAI and Gemini, and you can swap between the two of them. So you can use both for whatever reason. Not sure why you would need to use both. I think actually I had it so I was using Gemini for the smart mapping and things like that, and then OpenAI for the description writing. But yeah, OpenAI I'm using on as the basic. And you can set it to 3.5 turbo if you're not really fussed about, the quality of the writing, because essentially it's using the data. It's not having to come up with any information on its own. It's just analyzing the data, and 3.5 turbo is still the cheapest. I've got it on 4 mini, probably costing me more than I need to be spending on things. But you set basic things here. I've not had to mess with anything. Everything's being done on 0.7 and 1,000 tokens. Again, just writing the descriptions are the maximum amount of context, the content that you're writing, and everything else is like category descriptions and then analyzing data and things like that. It doesn't need a crazy amount of tokens, but yeah, you can put your key in, validate the key, make sure it's all working. You can change these settings here. And then what you want to do as soon as you install and you've put your API keys in, there's this API key, and then in Customizer, you've got the Google Places API. If you don't put that in, your maps and your Street View are not going to work, and any geolocation features are not going to work. But feature management, you've got all of these features that you want to have enabled. Just enable them all. Don't be fooled. Some of these are features I have not completely, because this was in the old one and I've not done the code for that. So I do need to, I'll just end up copying all of this and asking Claude what features we already have and then verifying those. And I'll probably just have to gray out the ones that are coming soon, just so there's no confusion. But for now, enable them all, save. And then if you go to prompt library, you've got the default prompts for handling the various parts of generation. So business description, this is default. This is my prompt, but this is in the version that you'll get. So when you install it, you'll see this massive prompt. This is, I think, this section here with the avoid, don't use these words or phrases. This goes in pretty much any prompt I use to generate a large body of text. It just eliminates all of the AI sounding text. And I try and update that as I go, because I'm always finding different things that AI says, and it's kind of getting a bit more creative. But you just don't want it to read like AI. So you'll notice in some of the descriptions in MK Directory, before I started editing the prompt, you'll see like discover the blah, 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 blah. The typical AI speak. Everything starts with discover. So you want to avoid those kind of things where possible. And that's why the prompt library is awesome. And so I've only done it for that one because that's the large body of text. And then content classification, search intent, all of these are mini AI features. You can just go in and edit the prompt, but you have to go to use as template and then create your own prompt. This part here was essentially for category creation. So I do need to go through these prompts and clear what we don't need. But for the category description, again, this is gonna need to be optional. We've got write an SEO friendly description for a business directory category named this. So this is when you go to generate a description for the category, this is the prompt it's pulling. But some people are gonna have very, very specific local sites. So MK Directory is just for Milton Keynes. So I'm gonna use that template. And then I'm going to write an SEO friendly description for a business directory category named category name. And then I will mention that the location. So it says, if you're looking for a chiropractor in Milton Keynes, blah, 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 blah. And it would do that for all the categories. So that's what makes it SEO friendly. But if I made that by default, what location would it be pulling from? We'd have to get a variable, I guess. So I have to integrate variables or dynamic content. So when you land on that very specific archive page, so let's say you're doing the whole of the US or the whole of the UK, you can't just put in plain text the location. You have to put the variable. So it will say chiropractor if you're looking for the best chiropractor in London, or if you're looking for the best chiropractor in Milton Keynes or Bristol or wherever. So that's another level. It is something I'll consider. I've got all of these features that I want to possibly add written down, but I need the community and everybody who's already bought the plugin or interested in it. I need that feedback from you guys, because I'll just go off and I'll build every granular feature that I've thought of, and it might not be that beneficial to everybody else. So I'm just putting these ideas out there, showing you where we are, where I'm looking to go, some of the concepts I've had or that have come to mind, and what I'm considering. For that, I definitely will at least do that for the local. It's a simple case, the same way we've got category name to have the variable to show the location. That's quite simple. But when it comes to multiple locations, so you're doing a whole city or a whole state rather than just a city or an area, it gets a bit more complicated. So, and we don't want it to be overkill. We just want it to be targeted and relevant, both for the user and for the AI engines and the search engines, if we still care about those. Claims is where they will show up if a business has made a claim for one of the listings that you've already imported. And then enrichment is where the fun is currently happening. So I need to remove this tag because it does work. You put your Firecall API key in, and hopefully you listened to me when I made that video about getting 5,000 free Firecall credits, because I think it's 50,000 actually, because I've still got a bunch of those credits. But Firecall is an awesome tool even if you don't get those credits. So it uses natural language to scrape. So that made it perfect to integrate, because in the back end, this is not something you're doing, but in the back end, it's using a prompt, it's prompting, it's using natural language to search for the information that we have that's missing in the database. It's grabbing that information and it's putting it in your businesses. So that's how we do enrichment for businesses that have little description, but they've got a URL. Right now, I've only got it set up so we can scrape business information and combine that with what we have, the data that we have for the business, and then use the LLM to write a description. But in future, we'll be able to scrape social media links. If they've got links at the bottom of the page, we'll be able to scrape any information that we want, including images, and have them compressed and then just added to the directory. So it's only going to get more streamlined. It's only going to get easier to do all of this. But again, these are just some of the things that are already built, and where we can go from here. We'll be able to have different data sources as well. So we won't just have to use Firecall. If you have some ideas for different APIs that work in a similar way, if it's an API, we can integrate it more or less. But keep in mind the limitations of WordPress. That's something I'm having to come to terms with. I'm trying to think what I've missed. I'm not sure if I've missed anything, but that's the gist of it. If you've seen me go through the main menu, that's the gist of it. Another thing we have that I didn't mention is latest news. So this is what the news page looks like. As you can see, there's a bit of an issue with the margin. Simple fix, but yeah, so this is what the news page looks like. You've got the ability to tag a specific business. So this will be, I think this is more of another upsell for businesses, but you can also then connect it to an RSS feed. Not at the moment, but I'm just conceptually, you can connect it to an RSS feed of your local area, or just anything you can think of. So if it's just news in AI tech in New York or something, you can connect it to those RSS feeds and then use the LLM to rewrite that blog post. That's where I'm going with that, that news post. So you can use the AI to analyze one or multiple search terms or news stories, rewrite it, improved, and then link it to that business in your directory. So this is what you can currently do this. You can currently import or just write an article and then tag the business, but we can't, the RSS feed is not set up yet. And that other feature I mentioned, again, conceptual, working on it, planning it, it's gonna happen. And then you've got this voting system. Was it helpful? I've already voted, so that registers. Right, so I fixed the Google Maps Street View issue. So this is the first thing they'll see, the featured image, and then the Street View About section. It was a theme issue rather than the plugin issue, so I've got to go and update the theme, but I'll just show this tab, which is the location, and we're gonna have get directions once geolocation is set up and organized. And then the popular times widget should show if you have popular times. If you don't, yeah, it's just gonna show that. So we'll probably have to get it to not show this if there's no popular times. Again, probably easy enough to do, but this is how it shows the features and amenities. Business times, Friday today. This is oh, that is correct. So it's only open on Tuesday. Shows closed, duplicate, but minor things, but that's it. I'm going to say this now. I'm going to update this. I'm going to do some videos today because this is not the official walkthrough. This agency price is going up. The agency package gives you, this is for developers and agencies. This gives you access to unlimited sites. You can install the plugin and the theme and have updates on unlimited sites. And the 5-site license, these prices I think I'm going to keep the same. And keep them as they are, but I think there's a real opportunity in building very, very niched sites. Like, again, I'm gonna do, this is one of many videos. I have so many domains that can be repurposed that I've just got sitting there from niche site days, ones that haven't been hit by Google HCUs and things like that have some domain authority. I'm going to be building directory sites. I'm going to show this. I'm going to show the setup. But the agency package is going up. It's only going up by $100. So it's going up to $499 for unlimited sites. And you have access to this pricing until my birthday. So I've already set it. I don't know, it should show, I don't know why it doesn't show that it's a sale price. Maybe that's something I need to do. So what's the date today? So for the next 5 days, this is the pricing. It's my birthday on the 25th, and then the price is going up for the agency. So if you want to grab unlimited access, this is the best time to do it. Unlimited sites, sorry. And again, I've already said I'm going to make this the best WordPress not even just WordPress, the best directory solution. If you're building directory sites, I'm going to make it so it's a no-brainer to use Smart Directory Pro. So if you want to lock in that price for unlimited sites, now's the time to do it. And then we're going to head over to $499 from the 25th of June for the 26th of June onwards. So that's it, guys. If you found this video interesting, useful, if you want to learn more about WordPress development with AI, plugin development, headless WordPress CMS setups with lovable front end or React based front ends or anything like that, all of those fun things, cursor development, Claude Code, which is what I'm using now and absolutely loving, although it's costing me a lot of money because that's just how these things work. If you want to learn more about all of that stuff, hit subscribe. I'm also going to keep putting some exclusive content up in the No Code Agents group. I've scrapped Idea to MVP. It just wasn't in line with what I was trying to do because things are changing so much. So I don't ever want to build something like or build a course and then it gets outdated. I just want to keep putting the information out there as I develop it. So if you want to follow along with anything like that or get member access, you can become a member on this channel, and you can also join the No Code Agents. I'm going to be putting a ton of information in those groups, giving away a lot of free stuff as well as some premium packages. So that's it, guys. It's been a long time and I plan on coming back. Don't worry, I'm going to be making a bunch of videos, not just on Smart Directory Pro, but on everything that's happening in AI development and building and whatnot. And yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun time. So that's it, guys. Peace.